Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke, and finally, welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. I decided that this week is going to be the SCP Blitz, where I just do a whole bunch of episodes. I hadn't decided how many yet, because like I said, I feel like if I just throw 10 of these at you in 1 week, you're going to get annoyed at me. But I want to put out an amount. Especially since it's looking like episode 164 came out almost a month ago. I think this Thursday, maybe this Friday. This Friday would have been a month since the last time I did one of these, and I didn't mean to do that. So, if I remember correctly, in the last episode we did self-repairing biological AI, giant parasitoid wasps, voodoo dartboard, whistle bones, and hungry ticks. Which would mean this time we're going to do the youth cult, the kingdom of sand, the paradise falls, brownies, and seed bead. I'm willing to bet that brownies and seed bead might be Keter, but you never know. First, let's check out the youth cult. Well, the youth cult is Euclid. A 6.5 meter wall with posted guards and a surveillance system has been built around the town inhabited by 776A. Civilians are under the impression that this marks the territory of a government research facility. Site blank has been established within these limits for research into the anomalous properties of A. It used to say personnel assigned to A are free to interact with its members at any time, but are encouraged to limit such contact to only that which is needed to further understanding it. Now it says, interaction is limited strictly to testing in light of the events of Incident 3. Hopefully it's on there so we can find out why. No individual who's a part of the A group is allowed to leave the town under any circumstances, presumably to stop them from making the cult grow. A is the adult population of a remote town located in the far northwest corner of Russia, estimated at 600 and something individuals. The members of A have discovered a method of reversing biological aging, designated B. The ritual involves the sacrifice of a human being who must be younger than the performer of the ritual, with children being the preferable subjects of sacrifice. The complete instructions for enacting B have been recorded in Document 109 Alpha, a level 4 restricted document. Members of A claim to have been using B since 18-something to sustain eternal life and semi-eternal youth. Members of A refuse to divulge the origins of B. The average age of A members ranges from 23 to 51 years of age. This cycle of aging progresses as follows. From 23 to 39, after regressing in biological age as a result of enacting B, members of A lead considerably active lives, some claiming to have made regular travels abroad when they had sufficient funds to do so. Members of A are also notably lenient in sexual conduct, with married couples frequently partaking in affairs with each other's consent. The overall demeanor of A members is most positive during this period, and a general increase in cooperation is observed during this period. Any pregnancies resulting from the increased sexual activity during this period are terminated by A members as soon as possible. From 39 to 51, A prepare their homes for supporting children as they approach the age of 40. Once the average age of A is 40, members engage in sexual intercourse for the purpose of procreation. Members spend the next approximate 11 years raising their children. A member shows signs of depression during this period. At age 51, members of A bring their children to warehouse-like structures near the outskirts of town to enact B. Each individual enactment of B takes approximately 20 minutes to complete. A members enter the structures approximately 28 years younger than before. The interior of this structure is slated for examination. 776 was discovered in 19 blank after an individual named Blankety Blank, who had stumbled upon the town in 19-something, revisited it 12 years later after remembering the hospitality of its citizens. Upon entering the town, Blank noticed that the town was filled with young adults instead of the families he had encountered during his first visit. Blank reported that when he questioned a citizen about this, the citizen immediately turned hostile and attempted to murder him. Blank successfully escaped the town and reported it to nearby authorities. The Foundation soon took notice and took over investigation and administered Class A amnestics to Mr. Blank. After a heated debate, the members of A agreed to allow the Foundation to isolate and study them. A claimed their town's name to be Blank. Another town with this name was abandoned in 19 blank. However, the town populated by A was discovered in 19 blank years before the abandonment of the aforementioned town. Russian government officials claim to not have been aware of A's existence nor the town they inhabit, stating never to have plans to build another blank. A members claim to have no knowledge of when or why blank was founded, saying that none of their elders ever discussed the topic. Incident 3. On March something, 2000-something, at something hours, approximately blank individual A members launched an assault on Site blank, killing blank personnel, including blank guards and blank scientists. The remaining guards used their combined force to suppress the attack, killing blank members of A in the process. The organizer of the group, A-276, was apprehended for interview while the rest of the attacking group was terminated. And there's the interview 6 with them. The interview log is translated from Russian. Dr. Blank was accompanied by 2 security guards to ensure that 276 would cause no harm. 276, would you care to explain why you led an attack on Site Blank? Don't call me that. Call me by my real name, Redacted. Very well, then. Redacted. Why did you organize an attack on our facility? I suppose there's no point in hiding it now. You scientists are really the only hope we have left. You see, the town has been having problems as of recent. Please elaborate. We've been trying to raise children again for the process, but a lot of the townspeople haven't been able to have children anymore. No matter how much they try, none of the women can get pregnant. Well, some can, but the babies, they come out all wrong. I've heard of some with too many eyes, not enough skin. Others look like they've been dead long before they exited the womb. They don't live past a few days at most. We thought we could find a cure if we searched your labs. I originally thought my wife and I were safe after we had a perfectly healthy child, but then... Please continue, Redacted. My most recent child always seemed uncomfortable around me and my wife, always preferring to be alone. I didn't think too much of it, but then the time came when my child could speak properly. When she was around 4 years old, I've kept her locked in the basement ever since. What was it that your daughter said? She said, Papa, why did you do that to me? Why did you? Data expunged. I didn't even notice how much she looked like my 4th daughter up until that moment. Begins to sob. 276? Falls to the floor, still sobbing. The guards approach and escort 276 out of the site. So, it looks like, by reversing their ages, it reverses all of their biological components as well, which means if they do it enough times, eventually they will start to have the same children again. Yes! That's weird. Okay, next up, the Kingdom of Sand. It's also Euclid. It is pretty. Probably terrifying because of that. The area known as 777 is to be... Jackpot is to be contained behind 2-meter-tall electrical fencing. Motion-activated turrets are to be placed within the area in order to prevent any instances of one from escaping the containment area. No liquids are allowed within the area known as 777. Maybe I should just call it the Kingdom of Sand. Well, maybe not. I glanced down a little bit. Any civilians approaching 777 are to be interrogated and subsequently dosed with Class A amnestics. For the sake of secrecy, 777 is to be represented as a military bombing range on all maps of the area, and any satellite imaging is to be doctored by dedicated staff to represent the area as such. Any personnel entering 777 are to wear sealed ventilated pressure suits to prevent liquid coming into contact with 777. These suits are to be checked for ruptures before entering. Any instances of one outside of 777 are to be destroyed at the first possible opportunity. In the event that it experiences rainfall, on-site personnel are to authorize a bombing run to neutralize the threat posed. Okay. SCP-777 is an area of land spanning 5 square kilometers located in the blank desert, which might be Sahara, referred to by the locals as the Kingdom of Sand. I'm just going to take a quick Google to see if that's actually a thing. Official Windcraft. Windcraft Dungeons. Movie King of the Sands. King of the Sands. It's probably not real. Unidentified radio interference is present within 777, with the source currently unknown. 777 demonstrates a further anomalous property when sand within the area comes into contact with any type of liquid. The moisturized sand will animate, typically take the shape of an animal proportionate to the amount of sand moisturized. These entities will hereafter be referred to as One. Instances of One will behave aggressively to any life forms that enter 777 and will attack on sight. One will single-mindedly hunt their prey and have, on several occasions, followed intruders out of 777 and to nearby towns. Hopefully they were not always lions. Yeah, my phone is freaking out. Instances of One do not appear to attack each other, and instead behave in a hive mind, using flanking maneuvers to distract and kill their victims. One typically collapse and become inanimate if not provided with further moisture after 24 hours, although this timescale seems to be longer in smaller instances. Sand retrieved from 777 appears to retain its anomalous properties until it's taken a further 6 kilometers away from the Kingdom of Sand. Taking advantage of this, a research outpost has been established 2 kilometers away from 777, and research on the anomalous sand is currently being undertaken. Analysis of the radio interference and evidence given in 777-1, or interview rather, indicate that the source of the anomalous events is the center of 777. However, all attempts to reach it have met with failure. History. It was discovered by the Foundation during a routine myth verification operation undertaken by Mobile Task Force Zeta-17, Beach Bullies. Contact was lost with them 1 hour after the mission began. Mobile Task Force Phi 22 Well-Wishers then began a rescue operation and managed to retrieve Blank Blank, the leader of Zeta-17 and only survivor of the incident on the outskirts of 777, who informed the research staff of its nature. Here's a testing log. 1 grain of sand, drop of water applied. Nothing happened. Small clump of sand, water applied. Sand animals are animated into 3 European hornets, which had escaped from containment and attacked security officer Blank. They are relatively unharmed as the hornets are unable to properly sting him. It was then destroyed by a second member of security. 2 connected small clumps of sand taken. Water is applied to the sand. The sand animates into what appears to be a hybrid between a crab and an octopus. The crabtopus is immobile and destroyed without incident. Mixture of regular sand and sand taken. Water applied to the mixture. The sand from 777 animates into an African rock python, which burrows out of the sand and is destroyed by security when attempts to escape containment. Sand taken from 777 contained in a test tube. The water is applied, it animates into an unidentified mass which demonstrates acidic qualities, destroyed without incident. A large amount of sand taken and a tank filled with water. The sand is inserted to the water tank. It takes slightly longer to animate into a juvenile great white shark. It doesn't suffocate when the water is removed and is subsequently destroyed by security. Sand taken from 777 formed into the sculpture of a cat. Water applied, sand animates into 3 abnormally large scorpions. It is destroyed without incident. Sand taken, placed next to a small plant. Water is applied to the sand. The sand animates to an unknown form of plant life, which appears to strangle the plant. One destroyed by security without incident. Note, it appears one manifests itself as whatever is deadliest to the nearest organism. Did they have an interview with the... Oh, it's an interview conducted after Blank was retrieved. Hello, Blank. I just need to ask you a few questions about what happened. Hi, Doc. Fire away, I guess. When did you discover 777's unique quality? We'd been in that damn desert for 15 minutes, and Blank just wiped some sweat off his hand and... Oh, Jesus Christ. Please continue, Blank. Does not respond. Doctor sighs and applies a Class B desensitizer. This will help. Now, tell me what happened in the desert. Blank got swarmed by the ants. They ate him, and then they ate Blank, and then they ate Blank, and then they ate me. No, Blank. They did not eat you. You're sitting here, talking to me. I am sitting here, talking to you. Yes, what happened next, Blank? Me and Blank ran away. Blank was bleeding and he fell over and it made a messed up crab. I'm sorry? Looked like a crab gone wrong. Too long and too flat, and I think we were blind. Or I think we're blind. What happened next? Does not reply. 10 seconds passed. Answer the question, please. I kept on running. Those things were right behind me and I just kept on running. They got Blank. I think it was rats that got him. I just kept on running. Did you see anything else when you were in 777, Blank? Sand. It was just sand. Buildings made of sand. Oceans made of sand. Animals made of sand. They were huge. Bigger than the buildings. This was the center, yes? The center of 777? No. It was close, though. I carried on running, and I went through there. And I went through there? Can you tell me what was in the center? There was nothing. Just more sand. Collapsed at this point and was removed by medical staff. Closing statement. They were later diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and given temporary leave for stress. Probably shouldn't desensitize people who were suffering from that with drugs that do the thing. Check to see how long Paradise Falls is real quick. It's not that long, but I'm still going to just take the time to, like, stop the recording and then start it again just in case my computer decides to blue screen on me anyway, even though it hasn't done that in a while. SCP-778 is particularly dangerous in that it is immobile and centered in Data Expunge National Park, which is frequented by civilians. Signs or public documents displaying maps of or mentioning the existence of 778 are to be erased, destroyed, or rewritten as necessary. Public awareness of 778 must be avoided as much as possible. Placing signs over the trailhead marking it as closed and dangerous has been found effective and is to remain in place. 2 undercover agents are to be located within the park at all times to monitor civilian access to or awareness of 778. These measures should be effective in deterring civilians from contact with it. SCP-778 is an area of land of undetermined size located in Redacted National Park. It is currently defined on all maps, signs, and other media representing it as a hiking trail leading to a destination known as Paradise Falls. Whether Paradise Falls exists is currently unknown and perhaps unknowable. Some Night Vale shit right here. 778 is constructed normally for trails in the area and is labeled normally at the trailhead and at irregular intervals along its length. None of this is anomalous for trails in the area. However, 778 is extremely topographically inconsistent and easily dangerous to civilians. Instead of leading to Paradise Falls, it will instead lead to other areas of the park or on winding, inconsistent paths around the area. It is generally located in only one area of the park, although it varies from exploration to exploration. Ecologically and geologically, the area surrounding 778 is consistent with that of the park. A river running through the area may be part of Paradise Falls, although the river is difficult to follow and may be topographically inconsistent as well. In addition, visitors hiking on 778 have reported hearing the sound of rushing water, consistent with that of a waterfall, although in all cases the trail soon veers away from the assumed location of the waterfall. 778 also appears to regenerate somewhat regularly, usually every 10 to 25 years. When it does, its name will change, it will shift to another area of the park, and all park maps and signs will change to reflect this. For a known history of 778's changes, please see document 130. For a record of tests performed in order to reveal the nature, please see experiment log 778. I feel like we probably don't really need to do that. Addendum A. In blank, an attempt was made to destroy it with the use of multiple disposable dudes, machinery, and common tools. Over 20 kilometers of the trail were destroyed, passed off as winter flood and storm damage before it disappeared. 7 months later, the trail reappeared in a different location under the name Paradise Falls. Given the effort needed to destroy that much trail and the utter failure of the attempt, total destruction of 778 is not recommended again. Document 130. Oh, it's just right there. List of known previous incarnations of 778. Initial recovery, Nightfall Pond. Fox Lake, Cedar Point, Western Ridge, Paradise Falls. Okay. Now it's time to find out if the brownies or the seed bead are Keter. Well, the brownie is safe, and it also looks like some sort of wasp, or ant, or want. SCP-779 is currently contained at Site blank and blank. 779 specimens are to be contained in a 6x6 chamber with no furniture, 6x6 meter chamber. All personnel entering the containment chamber are to wear hazmat suits. Hazmat suits are to be checked for ruptures before and after entering the containment chamber. In the event of a suit breach, compromised personnel are to be removed from the area and detained for 24 hours. 779 is to be provided with 1 liter of milk every day. Are they wasps that make brownies? 779 is a species of insect similar in appearance to a common bee or wasp. Specimens are typically colored red and black, although variations in this have been noted among their populace. 779 usually breed and live in human residences, but sightings of 779 have been reported at rivers and lakes, suggesting the possible existence of a subspecies. It operates with a typical social system. A queen is always present in the center of the nest, and reproduces constantly while workers retrieve food for the rest of the hive by stealing from the residents. Queens are recognizable by the distinctive yellow spot present on their backs. 779 nests are usually formed from whatever materials are available in a section of the human residence with little traffic, such as an attic or basement. 779 have been observed to operate at all times of the day. When a nest has been formed, specimens of 779 will attempt to sting residents, injecting them with their hallucinogenic venom. After this initial injection, 779 will sting their victims at least once per day to keep the venom in their system. When injected with the venom, victims of 779 will perceive it as small humanoid figures with wings and believe that 779 are assisting with the maintenance of the residence. Victims will continue to believe this even if the residence undergoes structural collapse. Continued exposure to the venom can result in victims viewing them as their children and defending them from most threats. 779 appears to only sting humans and will not undergo this parasitic relationship with other species. They will consume most edible substances with a particular affinity to milk. Consumption of milk seems to be remedial to 779. Injuries such as torn wings and missing legs have been observed to heal in a matter of hours after consumption. Victims of 779 will usually give most of their food to 779, but will not allow themselves to succumb to malnutrition. 779 can exist in symbiosis with their victims for months or years until the victim is cut off from the supply of venom. Why was that called brownies? Nothing about that was brownies. Like, at all. At all! Why was it called that? Wrong button. And the seed bead is also safe. SCP-780 must be kept in a locked steel box 10 by 10 centimeters, or 10 by 10 by 10, with walls at least 1 centimeter thick. The box is to be kept on a 5-meter pedestal at the center of a 20-meter by 20-meter concrete room. How come the room is only 2 dimensions, but the box is 3? Rooms are also 3 dimensions! Individuals wishing to approach it must succumb to a full-body search and may not bring plants, living or fake, images of plants, descriptions of plants, or digital displays of any kind within 10 meters of it, except as a part of a pre-approved test protocol. Individuals with plant tattoos are likewise forbidden from approaching 780, except during testing. 780 is a small bead, 1 centimeter in diameter, shaped like a rounded gem with numerous facets and a hole at the center. Oh, so there is. It appears to be made of a clear amorphous substance. Studies suggest it has a structure similar to that of polyvinyl chloride, but this does not count for its reaction to plants. Or account. While 780 does not melt at temperatures exceeding 3500 Kelvin, cooling it to below 24 Kelvin temporarily changes its structure into a crystalline form, allowing it to be damaged by blunt impacts. When a plant or representation of a plant, including artificial plants, photographs of plants, drawings, and paintings of plants, particularly vivid textual descriptions of plants, or any of the above appearing on a screen of any sort, is placed within 10 meters of 780, it begins to levitate and will fly towards the plant. How it detects plants is unknown at this time. If restrained, it will become increasingly agitated until the plant is removed from its radius. If allowed to come into contact with the plant hereafter, the host plant, 780 will stick to it for a period of 5 seconds, at which time it will fall to the floor. Once it lays flat against the ground, it cannot be removed except as noted below. Within 10 minutes, a shoot will be seen growing from within the hole at the center of 780. This will mature into a fully grown specimen of the host plant within 24 hours. This new plant is designated 1. Even if the host plant was not a living, physical plant, one will be, though in all other traits, color, height, general form, it matched the description of the host plant. 1 has the same requirements for sun and atmosphere as the host plant, but does not have a root system, and therefore does not require water or any particular soil conditions. Despite lacking roots, 1 will not fall over regardless of imbalance or pressure applied. Attempts to dig up the ground 1 sits on will result in data expunged. 1 is equally susceptible to damage as the host plant. Anything which would kill the host plant would also kill 1. Upon its death, it will rot unusually quickly, and 780 may be retrieved. At maturity, each instance of 1 produces new copies of 780. In flowering plants, the copies are found at the base of each flower, usually replacing the ovary. In non-flowering plants, the copy replaces seeds, spores, or other propagules. Each reproductive structure, flower, cone, spore, capsule, produces exactly 1 copy of 780. When 1 portrays a plant species that does not undergo sexual reproduction, a single new copy of 780 forms at the base of 1. These new copies will break out of 1 and affix to the nearest plant not regenerated by 780, or remain inert if no such plant exists within their radius. Flowers or seeds removed from 1 before maturation contain smaller, misshapen copies of 780, which do not react to plants in any way. Addendum A. 780 was recovered from flyovers of the Atacama Desert, when flyovers reported an odd stand of mangrove trees where existing water should have been insufficient for their survival. Initial response from the Chilean government included a botanist carrying blankety blank blank, which included a picture of a rose bush on the cover. Upon approaching the site, multiple copies of 780 flew toward the book, and the researchers fled. When they returned a day later, many more rose bushes were growing at the site. Communication between the research team and their contacts was intercepted by Agent Blank, who intervened on behalf of the Chilean government. Mobile Task Force blank 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 was dispatched, who used incendiary devices to incinerate all plants in the area. All instances of 780 were retrieved, and all but 1 has been destroyed to reduce the risk of further growth. This sounds like it can solve world hunger. It doesn't sound like anything bad is happening. This is a... I'm mainly curious. Okay, so sunflower, full-grown sunflower in one day, new copy within the flower. Photograph sunflower, identical to the first experiment. Painting of a sunflower, resulting flower, but slight differences in number of petals, shades of color, showed to be a copy of the painting, not the plant. Painting of sunflower with only a single purple petal rather than many yellow ones, resulting flower matched out of the painting. The word sunflower, no response. One paragraph description of a sunflower, resulting flower matched the description in the paragraph. A paragraph description of a bush which produces chocolate bars. Resulting bush shares physical appearance with description, but chocolate bars are in fact fruit, with a dark fleshy interior that, according to disposable testers, only has a passing resemblance to the taste of chocolate. Each fruit contains a copy of 780, indicating that these fruits would normally contain a seed on their interior. A one-paragraph description of a bush which produces health bars which contain a week's worth of calories and nutrients in every bite. Resulting bush shares physical appearance with description, with the bars again being fruits containing copies of 780. Tests verify that these are fairly nutritious with a wide variety of vitamins and minerals, but only contain slightly more sustenance than an ordinary fruit or vegetable. Further research on exploiting 780 provide a variety in the site blank canteen on hold pending approval. If we can make fruits as healthy as Brussels sprouts but as tasty as strawberries, imagine the marketing possibilities. We just need to find a way to remove the copy of 780 embedded at the heart of each fruit. A one-paragraph description of data expunged, result data expunged. SCP-38, resulting plant appeared identical to 38 but lacked its ability to reproduce items touched to its trunk. Host plant 143, resulting tree identical in appearance with 143. The bark has the same hardness, but pieces removed from one lose this property and retain only the hardness typical of a Prunus yadinidis tree. Petals have no unusual properties. Host plant SCP-417. While exhibiting the outward appearance of 417, the fruit only contained more copies of 780. Further testing on plant-like SCPs objects is suspended, as their unique abilities do not appear to be reproduced. Okay, so that wasn't that bad to read that test log. And that does it for this episode of the SCP Foundation Wiki, which was long overdue. The next episode should be happening tomorrow, though. In the next one, we'll be reading Unwitting Dream Shaper, All Knew You, There Was a Crooked Man, Christmas Cheer, and a Chain Restaurant. I do wonder if the Crooked Man is where there's a game that I saw Markiplier play. I think someone used RPG Maker for it, called There Was a Crooked Man. There was a crooked man. He had a crooked plan, or some shit. And I'm wondering if it has anything to do with this. But, that being said, this has been Anashi Sasuke. This is episode 165 of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. If you liked it, a like and subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later!